All right, so I just did some more research about David Bowie and Jack Stevens. I don't know if anyone gives a shit, but yeah, it's just as a Bowie expert in the first place, it's pretty easy for me. But what's difficult is I think this is intentional by Sky News to piss people off and to confuse people and stuff. But I discovered some new things. I was listening to an interview, to like 1 hour of interview with David Bowie, and it's certainly not easy to say. I was like wondering because in the interview, Jack Stevens he says like a lot like I mean you know and I mean and stuff like just sort of like I do. While that is something Bowie does sometimes, but other times he's a lot more self-confident in the way he talks. Uh, and then I just noticed a lot of new details. Like for example, you can see the ears in in the Dallas interview. You can see the ears, and they have been covered in other interviews. So like, but it could just be two different people, where it's not actually Bowie. So two people playing Jack Stevens. It's just as there was some guy pointed out that their eyebrows looks pretty much like, and yeah, that's true. That is creepy. And also, it's a strange name, Jack Stevens, isn't it? Is Steven a last name? Is that how is that a family name? That's a first name. So you one should think it sounds normal, but isn't it two first names, Jack and Steven? Uh, so yeah, it's just and listening to I love Bowie my whole life. Since I was 5, I've been like, and it's really not. I don't know. If it's because of YouTube, because their selection of interviews, but something that strikes me is just that he doesn't it doesn't really. It's hard to connect the guy that did The Man Who Sold the World and stuff like that to the interviews. Uh, so it's just yeah, it's very puzzling, very strange. Also, in one of his early interviews, or like 1973, they were like, "Oh, how will you be at 60?" You know, it's just like that would just be so far into the future that they couldn't even imagine. You know, it's like so yeah, it's really yeah. Also, I heard like a sort of like personal tragedy today about a friend of mine. It's not a close friend, but it's just something bad happened to somebody I know superficially. So yeah, that's a bit shocking as well. So just when something bad happens, you know, it's like it's really shocking, and the Sky News interview is just super disrespectful. And most the strangest thing is the Fortress music YouTube channel, which is like it published uh, the interview the same day as it was aired, and but it doesn't claim any affiliation with Sky News, and it claims to be from Fortress Music, this alleged music company, and the YouTube channel is from before Bowie's death. It's from 2015, November 2015, something. Bowie died January 10, 2016. So it's like, what's up with that YouTube channel? It's just allowing comments. It's allowing comments about this guy's Bowie and stuff. And it's posting a fake link. It's mentioned someone called Larry Little or something. I don't know who that guy is. That's it's just so fake and weird. But is Bowie involved? No, I don't think so. Why should he? The what people and also Russian vids is full of shit. RV Truth is full of shit, or often probably if people follow that guy like he's some kind of cult leader, just so they're just gonna believe it because he says so. But I don't believe Bowie is involved with this at all. Uh, and for example, if the guy says something like that Bowie was really happy with his wife, couldn't that just be taken from another interview by Bowie that they copied the interview on? Uh, I think it's pretty obvious that Bowie is not involved with this project. It's just the media like doing deep fake and who knows what. They can fake the sound even. Uh, so they're just and this Lizzie Sita, she's fake as well. Uh, uh, so they use these kind of personas. It's just like these kind of fake personas, sort of like. Uh, but it's quite. Yeah, it's just some bizarre mistakes. Also, he says Tin Man instead of Tin Machine about one of the albums. So it's just like why is he making that mistake? And I think it's this kind of like Apollo 13 approach, like they're trying to give it credibility by making intentional mistakes. Like she says, it starts off it's like a Monty Python sketch or something. It starts off like she says fortune music. It is fortress music, and she's like, "Oh, so embarrassing! Sorry, sorry, sorry." Sorry, like like a Python sketch, And also they're talking about like Bowie being so funny and how and what they haven't talked about him being funny. What's funny is the interview. What is this about him being a funny man? I don't understand. They say that several times. Okay, he was a funny man. Uh, what? Uh, and then just name dropping like some people like I don't know, and Lizzie Cedar calling her David Blowy. Obviously, all of this is intentional, just to confuse people. And I never heard Bowie talk that insecure, like being that much, I mean, Uh, so there's clearly a lot of like dubious delight and how could they get him into the studio so quickly? Um, and Lizzie as well. How can they get people in so quickly? Uh, it's clearly a scripted, controlled interview, and there's pixels all over the screen. I don't know the technical explanation for that, but some people talk about like deep fake that happens about deep fake. So it could be the guy from the Dallas interview. But then there's another interview where he talks about sexual harassment, which is 2017. It's 1 year after the Bowie 2016. The Dallas interview I think is from 2009, but I'm not sure. But it's just some real Twilight Zone stuff, like real bizarre. And I think Russianwitz probably knows more than he says. I think he's lying about what he knows. And who knows, or why should the mainstream media have so much internal knowledge, like I can be like masters of life and death and all that. Clearly, they're doing their own thing. I think Rupert Murdoch is a pretty shady guy, and the Bowie has not been involved with this in any way, and that's it's just to throw people off. So we see thousands of people just saying, "Oh, that's Bowie," and then they think that's clever. But yeah, so as a few people have pointed out, that's the intention. That's what they want. It's like in Seven when the serial killer John Doe, he's like he wants to get shot. He, his manipulation is towards that kind of behavior, and the same they want. Also, the just uh, they may. I heard another interview where Bowie called Elvis Presley. He called him Presley, and Jack Stephen calls him Elvis. So that's just if the real David Bowie was in the habit of he would use the name Presley. And now I'm probably into research that's even deeper than the guy at Sky News did, because I have this as I said before, I've been like thinking about Dave Bowie like every day since I was 5, and like dreaming about him and stuff, not in a gay way or anything, but just really fascinated with the guy as a friend. And I was really sad when he died. I wouldn't like be sitting at laughing in an inappropriate way. And uh, so I can like notice stuff like that, like him calling Elvis Presley, calling him Presley, whereas Jack Stephen calls him Elvis. So so yeah, I don't see. Well, in terms of the sound of the voice, well, yes, it is pretty similar, but on the other hand, it's also difficult to hear any difference between the Dallas interview and the Bowie and sexual harassment interview. So what we're talking about here is this is kind of like working class English British accent, London accent, uh, and all of it seems pretty similar. But Bowie wasn't he wasn't really like a rock star when he gave interviews. He's obviously. I mean, he's a very handsome. Like his physique is very special. Like very slim physique, and but he wasn't that like rock star in his way of talking or his like body language and stuff. So it appeared pretty normal. His his way of talking was pretty normal. So it's hard to uh, what I mean is I don't think Jake Stephen could go on a stage and do what Bowie could or sing like Bowie. But when they talk, it's hard to say. Well, what can you say? Is they're both talking perfect English accents because they're English. So it's hard to say. Uh, but there's no evidence that this Jack Stephen guy can sing. He didn't try to sing at any point. Uh, and the hairstyle looked pretty much like Bowie in another interview. It was also sort of creepy when I found an interview with him where he had the same hairstyle. Uh, and there it differs from the Dallas interview. So I think they did that intentionally, like covering his ears. And who really does that? Who has hair that covers your ears? That's pretty rare nowadays. And also, there's not like no gray. There's no gray or white in it. Even though we're talking about like old people and the real Bowie, he had certainly had gray and white hair before he died. He gave me the real Bowie gave me that kind of. He reminded me of a chess player I know in Denmark, yeah, and Jack Stevens just not giving out that vibe. Actually, I saw the Jack Stevens interview a long time ago, and I was just thinking, what the fuck? But yeah, I didn't think it was David Bowie. I just think that's a lazy, weird interpretation. There's clearly something going on, but it's just it's not as simple as just Bowie faking his death and being Jack Steven. That's not it. It's it's Sky News playing on those kind of. They know there's an audience for that kind of thing, uh, and and Russian, it's he only like talk for like 15 minutes about it. So I don't know. I mean, he should do some more if he's really serious about it. He should do some more analysis, and there are people doing analysis of this. I just think it's really misunderstood to say that like you're awake and we are sheeple if we don't think it's David Bowie, especially us who actually are Bowie experts to begin with. So this guy is just a normal human being. There's also the interview with this guy who interviewed Bobby Fischer as well, and who had like depression problems with depression. This famous interviewer when he talks with Bowie in 1973, and he's like, "Well, are you gonna tear my head off, or what are you?" And like, but later we know that Bowie indeed is very mainstream and became like a pop singer and really distanced himself from that kind of like destructive, scary rock image. And why is that important? Well, that's important to this because um, because what you have to understand about Bowie is just that he was just some guy, he was just some guy who went to art school, and then he was just doing his 9 to 5 work basically. He was just work, and he was just trying to have a normal life with like wife and children and uh, so there's just no way he would do something like this. He would not. He also turned down Knighthood, uh, and there's just um, he didn't particularly like the mainstream media, although he didn't avoid it as such either. But uh, he wouldn't. You have to understand um, that there has to be some kind of humanity left. You're not gonna do that kind of work and just be some kind of like empty shell. Uh, and Yeah, I thought that would be like a smoking gun if he did actually say in his interviews like, but I couldn't find that. He said he did say and I mean a little bit, but very little. Uh, so he wasn't not at all as insecure and stuttering as the guy in the Bowie interview, and of course they are filled with duper's delight. It must be super exciting to. Well, I think it's unethical, obviously, but they see it as a public service, which I think uh, is bullshit. I don't think they're doing anyone a service. I'm just attracted to I'm attracted to what is weird and strange, This is just so weird, so super weird, and really sad that some people are just gonna like watch it and just think it's like quality and like a normal way to talk about things. But of course, it takes like an enormous amount of like research into obscure stuff. Like also, I was listening to The Dark Side of the Moon by Pink Floyd, and these kind of things are really time consuming. Uh, uh, and yeah, now also, so it's just yeah, it's some really bizarre stuff. Really, really weird.